Hello, family. Welcome to Relationship Wednesday. Today on the podcast, we are honored to have Crystal Marie Stevens. Crystal is a wife and a mother of three. Crystal has a professional background in the human resources field, where she worked as a recruiter for many industries. She loves art, crafts, cooking, gardening, and pretty much everything you can do with your hands. She's an active Girl Scout leader. Thank you for the cookie hookup. Appreciate that. And is involved in her church as the assistant clerk. In 2011, Crystal's 2-year-old daughter was experiencing very dry skin. And upon much research, she became very disheartened by the endless toxic ingredients found in a lot of the skincare and body products her family had been using all their lives. Being a fan of all things handmade, she turned to her kitchen cabinet and started formulating body butters which improved her daughter's skin, and she eventually used the body butters on everyone in her household. Fast forward now to 2017, where Crystal's faith drove her to take her body butters to a larger platform. With all the courage she could muster up, she created Lavished by Nature, LLC. Upon taking that leap of faith, she started to create a variety of soaps that cater to specific skin conditions, hyperpigmentation, acne, eczema, etc. Through this journey, she has truly learned how to walk by faith and not by sight. Every product label is imprinted with Jeremiah 30:17 as the driving force for Lavished by Nature. Verse reads, "For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds." Crystal, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, so you want to go ahead and
do my thing.
Tell the family who Crystal really is.
Crystal really is.
Yes.
The paper is wonderful. Listen,
it is.
Crystal, you sound amazing
She's
on
a
paper,
beast.
honey.
Well, thank you.
I need to speak to Crystal that I've gotten to know.
Okay.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
So I found Crystal on Instagram, and I reached out to her. She was so open to having a conversation with me. I invited her to join us on the podcast. And I said, well, is it possible we can have a Zoom call? Because I like to meet with the person and have a conversation and vibe and explain what we're trying to do. And oh my goodness, Crystal was awesome. She was so warm. I love that she's so open. It's rare you find a business owner that's willing to share as much as Crystal is. And Crystal was willing to share everything and anything. You know, how can I do this? Oh, here's the website. Here's what you do. She doesn't come across as a person that feels like if I get a piece of the pie, that means you can't have access to it, or it means that I get less.
Right.
You know, she understands that she gets a piece of the pie. I can get a piece of the pie. Anyone can get a piece of the pie. And throughout our various conversations, I've learned more and more that really is authentically her. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure that that's why she's so successful.
Most definitely.
You know, and I love that about you. I think that is probably one of the best things I know about you. I'm sure there's more things I will learn.
Yes.
But that's the one thing that I truly admire because it's so rare, and it's sad that it's so rare.
Each one.
It is that.
You know, but I love it. We have a standing call every week since that call. And we really encourage one another. We share the things that we're going to do. I love that. I feel comfortable and safe enough to share my things with her because you cannot share everything with everyone.
No, you cannot.
You know, so I appreciate that you're my safe space.
I appreciate you too. I really do.
Yeah, and that you have encouraged me to move, because I'm not trying to get on a call and be like, well, I didn't do anything. So you could be looking at me like, excuse me, honey, why do you think we talking? I like you and all, but we have things to do.
Yes, we do.
And that's an accountability partner right there. That's important to have, especially in business. And when you're starting out as an entrepreneur, you know, you can get bogged down. You can get, you know, a little nervous about, am I moving? Am I doing the right things?
Yeah.
And that fear, that nervousness can cause you to stagnate. Yeah. When you have that accountability partner, you know, like you said, you don't want to come to the table and not have anything.
Right.
So whatever the motivation is, you still are moving forward. You know what I mean?
Right. But it was really important because Crystal and I established very early on. Interestingly enough, she said to me, I had just said to God, listen, God, I need some people in my circle that will help me. And I had been putting out the same prayer. Yep. So from the door, we both stated what we needed in this relationship. And I don't think people do that enough.
Right.
They walk in
I
with
agree.
an assumption that the other person will know. I learned don't assume, common sense.
Right.
ain't that.
Say that.
So early on, we stated what we needed from one another. I need you to encourage me. I need you to hold me accountable. And then we were honest if we could actually do that for one another.
Yeah.
And she undoubtedly held up her end of the bargain, because she don't have to say it. I see in her face like, so what you got going on? And everything behind her eyes is saying, now you better say you did what you said.
Because if you didn't, I'm going to call you out.
The mother part of her comes out, and I fully embrace it.
I love it.
So that's my spiel on Crystal. There you go.
Well, awesome.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
So, Crystal, tell the family, what do you have going on right now? Tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words. You know, we read the bio and we know that you're fierce and a beast and all that good stuff, but share with the family who you are.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that there is definitely a lot going on, and I thank you guys for inviting me. When I first started talking to Lisa, I was so excited because, like she said, I had put that vibe out to God. I said, look, I need my people. Like, you told me they were coming, and I need to start seeing them now. Because you got me doing things. I'm starting to feel a little lost again, and I need my people because, you know, there's certain people that you can grow with, there's certain people that you can't grow with. And I am blessed to have certain people in my life that have really helped me to get to where I'm at. But I know there's other people that I need to connect with the things that God has asked me to do to really go where He wants them to go. You know?
Right.
So I was really excited, you know, when we first started talking. And so right now, like you mentioned, I am the owner of Lavish by Nature by Crystal Marie. And we have all natural skincare products and herbal teas that we currently sell on my website. And they're also for sale in the sister shop in Jersey Gardens Mall.
Nice.
And that store is awesome. I mean, everybody needs to go there. It is a store filled with products by women of color.
Nice.
Yes.
Only store in Jersey Gardens Mall that is Black owned.
Wow.
I mean, it's awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
All right. We have to check that
So you
out.
really need to check that out.
Definitely. For sure.
Yeah. So that's what I have going on that end. I am a mom and a wife. My husband, he works in sales during the day. He works as a personal trainer at night and in the morning. And he has really, I've just seen him grow and do so much to make sure our family is held down to accommodate for the things that God has asked me to do.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say it was always easy and that he was always like, oh yay, this is what we're gonna do. But he has definitely stepped up to the plate and has done far more than what I have expected. And we're really blessed to have him.
Awesome.
And I have a son named Joshua. He is 4. Yeah, he's 14. Yep, he's going to high school next year. I have a 12-year-old daughter named Abby. She's in middle school. And then I have a 9-year-old daughter, Jordan. And we are expecting our first child.
Very nice.
I didn't know if you wanted
Congratulations.
if you wanted me to share that, so I kind of kept it to myself.
Yes. I'm past that time now. I haven't told, by the time you air this, I've told everybody. But
Good.
yeah, I'm expecting our fourth child, and we already know it's a girl.
Oh, congratulations.
3
Yes.
girls.
Yes, 3 girls.
Wow.
Mhm. I mean, hopefully my husband and my son don't leave us.
We're going to bring them on the podcast so we can hold them accountable
For sure.
to stay with the family. That's
For
what we
sure.
guys are.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that was something that, we prayed for a long time. So there is definitely an age gap, but that's the way God wanted it. And I'm sure I'm going to find out why.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. You'll find out. He'll reveal it to you.
That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
That's awesome.
So before we get started on these wonderful questions, tell me
Mhm.
exactly where everyone can find you and your products.
Okay, so they can find me on my website right now, which is www.lavishedbynature.com. I am on Instagram and Facebook, and my handle is Lavished by Nature. Like I mentioned, I am in the sister shop in Jersey Gardens Mall, and soon and very soon, I will be on Amazon.
Here we go.
Come on, honey.
There we go.
Yes.
I can actually say that with confidence today because I had another meeting with them. So that and I guys, I can't even tell you that whole story. I have to mention it. I have to bring it up.
Come on.
It's one of those things where when you're obedient and you do what God tells you to do, you don't have to do anything. People set everything up for you.
Yes.
Okay. So I was sitting here starting to get a little worried because I said, okay, the baby's gonna be coming in October. I gotta get some things together because I want to make sure that, we're comfortable, and I'm not doing too much on my own and taking on too much, work for myself when it's really just me inside the house. I'm still looking for a warehouse space, and on a consistent basis, I'm the person who's doing all the work. I'm your model. I'm your marketer. I'm customer service. I'm going to the post office. I got the apron. I'm making up. I'm doing everything, right?
Manufacturing and all that.
Do everything by myself. And I said, God, what do you want me to do? So I was talking to my girlfriend and my sister, and we talked about Amazon, and we talked about some other large retailers who have online presences. And I said, I don't know what to do. So I said, I might as well just be still until God tells me what to do. And sure enough, it was like not even a week. I'm looking at my email on a Saturday night, and I get an email from Amazon.
Yes, come on.
Amazon reached out to me. And I read this email, and I'm like, looking over my shoulders, like, somebody's trying to prank me. This is not real. I did not believe it, okay? Like, I looked the man up on LinkedIn. I said, he don't work for Amazon. I didn't even want to reply to the email. I said, this man don't work for Amazon. So I looked him up. And
quick background check on him.
I was like, he's real. He really is. He really worked for Amazon.
Wow.
I said, no. And it's just so crazy because they are starting like a pilot program to help Black businesses grow on Amazon. And he found me. So when I got on the phone with him, I said, what made you reach out to me?
Yeah.
And he said, basically, your website is really nice. Everything on there is really well laid out. You have nice pictures. Your reviews are amazing. You have a really good online presence. I checked out your Instagram, blah, blah. And, your stuff looks like it's well put together. I thought that you would be a really good fit for our pilot program. And I said, you know what? This is exactly why God told me from the beginning to have my stuff together. Okay. From day one, God made it very clear to me, don't half step.
Yep.
Yes.
He said, do your trademark. And people was like, you don't even have no business, Crystal. Why are you following a trademark? Right. I said, I'm not listening to y'all. Because I'll do what God told me to do. I followed my trademark before I even, had stuff really out there because I was just being obedient. And now I see why he told me to do all that.
Yes.
Because you never know who's watching and you have to be prepared.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome. That's a lesson too to everyone, the family who's listening to this, and the power of social media when it's used correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's what these companies are looking at.
Yeah.
It's true.
For employees, for business partners, that's what they're looking at now. I won't say gone are the days of the resume, but
right.
When you are doing what you're supposed to be doing and being obedient,
right,
they'll reach out to you.
Well, listen, we already know God will have your blessings chasing you down.
That is it. That is it.
Very much so.
Right?
Very much
so. She told me that. I was like, excuse me?
Yes. Yes.
That's a beautiful thing.
I love it. I love after this podcast, people should be on their knees saying, what do you want me to do? I'm just making it clear because I'm going to do it. If obedience brings, how could you not be obedient?
Yeah.
Tell you, but see, it was a long road. So I definitely, it was a long road. This did not happen overnight. And that's the thing. That's another thing. When people see me or see my business, they say, oh, well, I could do that. It's not, I'm sure you can. And I would give you all the support in the world. But they don't know the backstory.
Yeah.
How many days I sat in my backyard and cried and said, God, why are you doing this to me? My life was great. And why you have me start all over again?
Yeah. But isn't it amazing? Because as much as we believe our lives are great, God is like, I'm going to show you something greater.
Yep.
You thought that was great. But what I have in store for you.
Yep.
Ooh, come on, Jesus. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they see the blessing, but they don't know the struggle.
That is it.
They don't know the journey.
Right.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So that's awesome. That's awesome.
All right. Well, let's get started, Miss Lady.
Indeed.
So here we go. When did you fall in love with Jesus, and what did that journey look like?
Okay. Now so I would say I originally fell in love with Jesus when I met my husband. We were dating, and I met his parents, and they're really nice. And his parents were a deacon and deaconess at church. And I said, well, let me go visit their church. And I started going to their church, and I was like, this is really nice. I really like this. I wasn't baptized at that point yet. So after, going to the church for about a year, I decided I wanted to get baptized. That is when I initially fell in love with Jesus, is when I got baptized. But I think there's a difference between falling in love with Jesus and staying in love with Jesus.
Come on now. There you go.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Because just like any other relationship, you start off, everything's happy. It's like, okay, we go together now. You happy.
Together now. Wow.
Right? And then it's like, okay, now God gonna tell you, this is what I want you to do. And you're like, I'm not doing that. No. How about, no, I'm not doing that. Right? So now if you deal with a person, you can argue with them, you can negotiate, but there is no negotiating with God. So when he tells you to do something, you really got to do it, right? And if you don't, you have to suffer the consequences. Okay.
Right.
And I was suffering because I was stupid. I didn't want to listen. I was like, that's not God talking to me. I don't want to hear it. So this was really my real first test, is when me and my husband, we were married for like 6 months, right? And we had separate finances, like people do. So I'm driving home from work one day, and God said to me, he said, give Corey control of the finances. And I was like, yeah, okay. Not doing that. Not doing that, right? That's stupid. I'm not doing that.
Oh my gosh.
Told me a second time, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. And the third time, I was like, he is really telling me to get this man control over the finances. I was like, do I really want to do that? And that's when I was like, I don't know if I really like you so much anymore, because what you asking me to do is like really gonna break me. And that really, when I tell you about breaking somebody, that really broke me to have to say those words to my husband. Like, okay, I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth. I couldn't even get them out. He was looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? Like, what do you have to say? And I was like, I'm giving you control over the finances. He was like, yes, okay. And when I tell you, homeboy, he fixed my credit.
What?
Yes. Okay. He fixed my credit up. I mean, my credit was in shambles when we got married. He fixed my credit. He saved the money. He paid what we needed to pay. He was telling me we ain't had no money when we really did. And I was like, okay, because as long as we had everything we needed, it wasn't really that big of a deal. And I'll tell you right now, we would not have been able to buy our dream house if it wasn't for that. And that's when I knew, okay, when God tells me to do something, I better do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a hard transition. I mean, that I would say a good year and a half was just hell. We argued about everything for a solid year and a half because I just could not let go. And when I finally let go is when everything started to fall into place,
Yeah.
And everything got better. And we were able to move into the house that we wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that would have never happened if I did not listen to what God told me to do.
Surrender.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank God that God was persistent.
Yes.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
I'm so glad you realized I'm not gonna win this fight.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So in the midst of your discomfort is when you began to fall in love, or was it when it started to feel better? You began to stay in love.
That was a really hard lesson for me to learn. And I think that I was like, for the first year, I was borderline obedient, but borderline like, nah, this is not real. I'm going to do what I want to do. And every time I would stick my hand in the fire, it got slapped. So I was like, okay, I got to keep I said I'm my business to do what God's way to do. Because every time I tried to step back in, I was messing things up. It just wasn't going to work. I just had to really stick to the plan, And once I stuck to the plan, that's when things fell into place. And that's when I really learned that was a hard lesson. But then from that point on, I knew when God told me to do something, just do it. Don't ask no questions.
Yeah.
Even if it sounds crazy, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when we discipline our children, they know it's in love because we want the absolute best for them.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as it pains them and even pains us as their parents, they realize, if mom and dad didn't care,
Right.
They wouldn't, be doing these things and having me take care of these things because they also know I'm going to grow up. I'm going to need these skills. They already know what's around the corner. So I get it. Oh yeah, that whole obedient under our conditions is so comical, and it's almost like we think God is not looking at the time we decide to stick our hand in the fire. And it's like, and God is like, I see you, right?
Right. I can see everything you're doing.
Right.
Like I'm just gonna sneak in here just for a second.
Right.
But it's also like God knows I said you. He's like, I know you're saying yes with your mouth, but I do hear you in your head going, not really.
Mm-mm.
Like
that's right. That's right.
Mm-mm.
That is right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I'll be obedient. Inside, he's like, I'll be obedient, but not with that.
Right.
Not the money, Lord. No.
And I'm sure that must have been real because you were a career woman.
Yes.
And as much as you indicated your credit wasn't the best and stuff, you were making your money and you were doing your thing. And as much as we think we're working it out, it doesn't mean it's always working.
Right. Yeah.
So, whew.
You know what? Also, thank God for your husband being a man of faith as well, and
absolutely
being obedient to what God, because you said as soon as you told him, he was like, yes. So that to me means that God was telling him you need to take over the finances.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I definitely.
You guys could be on one accord.
I know that he was talking to us separately, and whatever language we both understood, that's what he was doing. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
that's
that.
awesome.
I love that. So who is God to you in your relationship right now?
Right now, God is the leader. God is the leader right now. Whatever he tells me to do, I'm going to follow.
So you never, I know never is a strong word, but you don't ever feel like you're in a position where he asks something where you kind of maybe go back to, and it may be for a short period of time, but do you still find yourself at times kind of going, really, God, that too?
I think that I think that all the time.
Okay. But I'm glad you're saying that because people would think, so are you trying to say that you feel, you're good?
No, I'm like the most imperfect person you've ever met. I think that all the time. And I argue with myself and I get mad about everything, but I still, at the end of the day, I know what I have to do. So I think it's even more frustrating when you have the knowledge because you can't play stupid. You can't play ignorant with God. He already knows what you know. So he knows that you know how to be obedient. Mm-hmm. He knows that you can follow directions. It's like there is no playing games. You can't hide.
So when you feel that, do you just kind of go back to all the times he was right?
No, what I do is I have her name is Mrs. Scott. Her name is Mrs. Scott. Mm-hmm. And she is my husband's so my son's godfather's mother, right? But my husband has known her his whole life. And we've gotten really close over the years, but I call her my spiritual mother. And she is the person I call when I know she's gonna tell me the God's honest truth, what God wants me to do. She's gonna say it, whether I want to hear it or not. Mm-hmm. She's gonna put me right back on the right path, And like for years, one of the things she would always say to me when I would complain about any situation, she would say, what can you change about yourself? And I would get so mad and so defensive. For years, I got mad because I said, "Well, I'm not changing anything else. Why am I always the one who got to change something?" I'm like, I'm trying to change it. I'm not changing it anymore because I said one time I told her, if I change any more, I won't recognize myself. And she was like, "Okay." But that's what I do when I need a reality check. She's the person I call because she's not going to gossip with me. She's not going to let me have a pity party. She's going to tell me exactly what I need to hear and tell me to get back on my good foot. And she's going to leave me with about 5 scriptures to read when I get off the phone.
I love that. Awesome. But you know what? It's so important that you said that. Mm-hmm. You have a covenant keeper that you call that is not a yes person. Mm-hmm. That's to you straight whether you like it or not. But you know it's done in love. Mm-hmm. And she's connected to the source.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I love that you call her knowing that. See, some of us have those people, but we don't call them.
Mm-hmm. So I call her first.
I'm sorry.
I didn't say I call her first.
Okay, now. I thought, all right, now, here we go.
I call her at the end of the day. I'm gonna call her because she's gonna set me straight. But I might call a couple people first, have myself a little pity party, and then I say, okay, Crystal, get it together now. Promise God.
Okay.
Listen. That's what they call being in her feelings.
Right. Exactly.
But you know, again, this is about us being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And as listen, the most Christian of Christians get in there.
Yes.
Of course.
They don't want to go to the throne right away. They want to get on the phone, make some calls. And as you indicated, they want to have a pity party. They want people to feel sorry with them. They want somebody that's going to ride that train with them. And
yes.
After they get their fill,
yep,
and they'll call their covenant keeper to put them on.
That's right.
It's funny the whole time.
It's so ridiculous, but it's the truth.
The whole time you're like, I'm not calling her yet.
Right.
I'm not calling her yet. I'm calling.
That's me.
And you talk to them, and then when you've exhausted everybody, you're like, all right, let me go ahead and call her.
Yes.
I know I'm done now, so let me call her.
Yep, you're done. It's time for me to get back on the right track.
I love it. I love it.
That's real.
Awesome.
That's real.
Awesome. Okay, so what stage are you in right now in your relationship with God?
I think I'm in I would say it's just a stage of obedience. It really is a stage of obedience. It's just, I have learned not to take any steps without, asking God first if this is what I'm supposed to do. Even if something looks like it came from God, I have to take a step back, and I had that situation recently where I thought something came straight from God. And I was like, I jumped right on it. And I said, did you even stop and ask God, were you supposed to do this? You moving so fast and you so excited. I mean, I knew it came from God, but I still didn't ask. You got to ask first and make sure. If he didn't tell you about it first or beforehand, you need to ask. So I always ask.
And that's so smart because right now I'm reading Ezekiel and I'm on the false prophets. And man, oh man, sometimes you think, oh, this is definitely from God. But if you ask, you'll get caught up in some stuff. Right. Crying out to God to get you out of.
Yes.
And you're trying to catch your breath and you sinking just as fast. So you're right. Just because it looked like God and it possibly even smelled like God. Let's just God now. That's you. That smell like your cologne. I'm not sure.
Exactly. Yep.
You're like, I gave up obsession a long time ago. I don't wear that no more. I don't wear that no more. You know that ain't me.
Oh my goodness, but it's so true. And sometimes you want it to be God. Oh, well, God, waves, God. That's not you. God be like,
right.
You stop that. Stop it.
Yes.
You can't. Damn, stop. And a man with waves for you. Stop it.
Oh my goodness. But I love that you said you're still in the obedient stage because one would think because it seems like you've been in that stage for so long, one would think, oh, you're good now. But I feel like, and it seems like what you're saying is obedience is an ongoing, consistent thing that we have to work on. I could be obedient 1 minute and then in the next 2 minutes, I'm fighting it,
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you can go from obedient to disobedient in a blink with one word.
A blink of an eye.
One thought.
Yeah. Yes.
So
it's
so true.
Yeah, because it's what we
and the tests get bigger. That's the scary part to me. That's why sometimes I'm like, okay, can I just stop right here? Can we just pause for a little bit? Can I just be chill and happy with whatever's going on right now for a solid year? Okay, before you start throwing some other tests at me, because I know that once you get past one test, the next storm is going to be so much bigger. You don't even see it coming.
Yeah.
And it comes in so many different forms that you don't even know. The attack is so real that it comes from so many different directions. You can't even always identify everything at one time, right? And you have to just sit back and just stop and say, okay, I know the attack is coming. I know it's going to be bigger than the last time, but the devil is real good at catching you off guard and knowing where your weak spots are, So that's why you just got to confess your weaknesses to God consistently. You know, I like cheesecake too much. I like sweets too much. You know, I like salt too much. And it's a problem for me right now. Okay. It's a real big problem for me. And if I don't get my life together, I'm gonna end up on bed rest with this baby, and I'm trying to be healthy. Okay. So this is a battle that a legit battle that's going on in my life right now, because I have family members who passed away very early, you know, from high blood pressure. And it's one thing to have high blood pressure on a regular basis, but when you're pregnant and have high blood pressure, you're responsible for somebody else's life.
Yeah.
You know, and you can actually pass on, you know, high blood pressure to your baby just from having high blood pressure when you're pregnant. You can pass it on to your child.
Yeah.
So they'll be affected later on in life, and that's something I don't want to do. You know, so I have to, you know, food can be the devil.
Oh, most definitely.
It's something so small, but that's something that can literally ruin your life, take your life.
Yeah, yeah. And he knows your patterns.
Yes.
He knows your patterns. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. He knows my love affair with food. Oh, my goodness. I am having a massive love affair with food.
I'm telling you, it's too easy.
I'm like, come on, man. Really? That's what we're doing? Mm-hmm. So what does the devil do? Send me coupons in the mail for all my favorite places.
Listen, you know,
like when did that start happening?
Exactly.
Exactly. He good too. He'll trick you. Like, oh, Crystal, you've been so good. You know what? You deserve a piece of cheesecake.
Story of my life. Okay. Story of my life. I just told my husband yesterday. I said, you know what? That is it. I said, I'm eating grilled chicken and salad for this entire pregnancy and water. He's like, okay, that's what you're gonna do. Fine. You know. Then 2 hours later, I saw a commercial. I said, you still a quick check? Can you give me that Talenti layers? Which ones they got? He was like, seriously? I was like, get the Talenti layers. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with you.
But see, he know to be obedient also. See?
Yes,
oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I love it.
So, Crystal, what we do, we like to give our guests an opportunity to just, before we let you go, any words of wisdom, any tidbits, any nuggets that you want to drop on the family before you leave. This is the time for you to do so. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So take the mic. It's yours.
I would just say that, you know, you have to really listen to that little voice. And when God tells you to do something, even if it sounds completely crazy, you really need to think about it and do whatever you can to be obedient. Because some of the craziest things that he tells us to do, you know, he builds roads for us. He doesn't always have a road that's already been traveled for us to go down. You know, and he can tell you something that has never been done before, and you say, "That I can't do that." But there is no "I can't" with God. That's if He gives you an idea, or if you have a dream, that dream didn't come from nowhere. That dream came from somewhere. He's gonna help you accomplish it always.
Yeah.
Even when it looks really hard, you just have to be steadfast, and you have to do the work. But you pray about it. He's gonna give you all the resources you need. He's gonna give you the network you need, and it's all gonna be in the right timing. Every single last piece of it. He is always there for you. He never leaves you. Even when it looks hard, God is going to see you through. And it feels good to be at a point where I know this is the absolute truth, you know. But even if you're in the beginning, even if you have just an idea, if you're scared, if people around you are telling you not to do it, don't listen. And just move in silence and show them. And one really big thing is that when people are telling you not to go after your dreams, or telling you, oh, you're a fool for doing that, or do not get mad at that person. Because it is not that person talking to you. People speak from their own experiences, and they speak from their own fears.
Yes.
And when you tell somebody something you're doing, they are basically holding a mirror up to you, looking at themselves.
Yes.
There you go.
So when you tell somebody, I'm going to go skydiving tomorrow, and that person is scared of heights, like, you crazy? I would never do that. You a fool. You gonna die. You know, they gonna tell you all the things that they're scared of because they would never do it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that God don't have. He has your parachute.
Come
God
on
got
now.
your parachute.
That's
You can go ahead and jump out the plane. He has your parachute.
Right.
That person is too scared to pick up their parachute. They're too scared to pick it up. They didn't even try. But you have your parachute on your back, and you can just jump. Yeah. And when they see you coming down the sky with your parachute on, they're gonna say, wow, she really did it. And they still might have something smart to say because they still are trying to hold up that mirror to you, but just forgive that person in advance because they're only speaking from their own experiences. It's not really about you. It's about them.
I love it.
Wow. That's huge.
Awesome. One more time before we get out of here, where can people find you?
My website is Lavished, LAVISHED bynature.com. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Lavish by Nature. And I am also in Jersey Gardens Mall at the Sister Shop. And very soon you'll be able to find us on Amazon.
All right.
Thank
Amazon,
you.
folks.
Amazon. Come on now.
That's huge. That's huge. Crystal, thank you so much for blessing us and the family by being on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. And there you have it, family. Love and blessings. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk R&R with Tony and Lisa. Follow us on Instagram at Let's Talk R&R, where we welcome your feedback.